Watch Ezra, he's an athletic guy. You don't see it, and then you go in the weight room, you're like, wow, this guy's really strong. I think he's won our lifter of the week twice this spring on the offensive side. So he's working his ass off, and he's just competing. He's one of those guys. He doesn't say much, competes. And he'll, every once in a while he'll talk. He'll say some stuff to the young guy to help him out. He'll give him the nugget to get him through the day. It's the type of guy he is.
And then a young guy like Milam coming in here as a rookie, has he held his own physically, at least weight room and all that stuff?
Oh, yeah. So Wyatt is like a bull in a china shop right now. He is a strong, powerful kid. He is transitioning from the tackle spot, which is a little transition for him, but he's working his ass off. He's another guy, you'd be interested to see once the pads come on where he can actually stand, because he does have the ability to be a starter in this league.
It's got to be, just as an offensive line coach, just get us to camp. Can we put some pads on, right?
Yeah. It's fun. These guys, you go out here and, it's lovely. It's past season right now. You got to wait for training camp to get that run game rolling a little bit. So, but it's fun. It gives us time to work on our technique, because these guys always need that stuff. As much as they sometimes hate drilling, they realize why we do the drills we do. We just don't drill to drill. We're drilling to get them better. Yeah, no problem.
What's going on, Sean? Jamal,
how you doing? Shaun Sarrett.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I know you were talking about Wyatt a little bit. How tough is it to evaluate a rookie this time of year? Like you said, the pads aren't on. Are you just trying to see if he has the assignments down? How do you get a feel for where he's at?
It's a little bit of mixture of everything. It's not only assignments; it's him out on the field communicating against with our other guys on the line against the defense, and seeing how he reacts to pressure situations. Like a pressure situation is, here comes maybe a blitz off the line of scrimmage. How does he react to it? Is he a guy that panics? Is he a guy that folds? Is he a guy that takes pressure and is like, well, whatever? And he's shown all the right things. He's the type of guy that's showed up and did a hell of a job for us so far.
How tough is a switch like that? He's going from playing tackle in college to probably playing guard for you guys.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. You got to close in the space. He's really going to go from working out on the street to kind of working in a phone booth. And he's learning that, and that's why I kind of jokingly call him a bull in the china shop right now, because he's used to being, used to all this space, but now he's got to go in here and, get his feet under control a little bit, but he's so strong, and he's able to, get fitted with guys, but he's coming along.
He's coming along? It's a really veteran group. I mean, you got two rookies in there. How helpful is that when you got a couple of young guys, but you have a group of guys that have kind of been around a little bit?
Yeah, what's interesting, they've been around, but they haven't been around here. Right. So I think that's very interesting. So they're bringing their experiences from these other teams in, and they're applying them in our room, which is so great for these guys to see the mixture. They're not only getting stuff that that we're trying to build here. They may get a nugget that these guys have learned in these other organizations, which I think is awesome. Yeah. And even me as a coach, when I hear these guys talk about some of this stuff, I think it's an awesome situation for me to learn from them.
What do you think about your tackle group? I mean, right now you got kind of Walker and Anton were the starters last year.
This is about as the best depth I've been around in the tackle depth. It really is. All these guys are able to come in and play. I wouldn't bat an eye if Fred Johnson was out there, or even Chuma. Chuma's done a hell of a job for us to this point, man. We signed him over from Dallas, and we had him at guard at one point, and we've moved him out to tackle. And he's done an unbelievable job for us.
Sounds like most of your guys can kind of swing inside, outside, and move all over the place.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And I really think if we really put a guy in a spot and said, hey, man, you're going to play center, I really think some of them could just go in there and play center as well, on top of just being a guard or a tackle.
How much does that help rotation-wise when you got that sort of flexibility where if you needed to move a guy, you feel like you can handle it?
Yeah, it's kind of happened like maybe a guy's shoes come off during practice, and I kind of seen it in action. And I'm like, hey, just go to left tackle. And they don't bat an eye. They just go on out there and they play the next play. And that's hats off to those guys, knowing the plays and able to move to different spots. And it's just unbelievable by them.
Shaun, nice to meet you. I'm Mia.
Hey, Mia, how you doing?
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, very nice to meet you. Talking with Liam on my interview, and I had an opportunity here, maybe some other opportunities elsewhere, but after speaking with him and seeing what he was going to bring to this table and watching what he did last year, before I did the interview, I had an opportunity to look at the film from Tampa and see the kind of system he wanted to run. And, he had a big emphasis on running the ball. I wanted to be part of that. I want to be a part of that, and that's just something, that's special, for an offensive line coach and an offensive line when you go out there and you put that on display, because it puts them to the forefront.